Hi everyone, welcome back to SmugMug Live. Thank you so much for joining me wherever you are in the world today. You are very welcome here on this very special show. This is episode 113, streamed live on Tuesday, December the 7th, 2021, and a very special episode because it's the announcement of our Flickr and Lego photo contest winners. So thank you all so much for joining. I can see the chat is very busy already. If you are joining us on Facebook or YouTube, then please use the chat windows to have a little chat amongst yourself, introduce yourself, let us know where you are joining us from. SmugMug Live, as always, is brought to you by SmugMug and Flickr. If you're looking for somewhere to showcase your images to the world, have incredible online photo storage, and have an e-commerce solution to sell your images, then check out everything we do at smugmug.com. Or if you're looking to be part of an incredible photo community where you can be inspired and motivated and share your images and connect with photographers all over the world, then check out flickr.com. I'm sure many of you are very familiar with flickr.com because hopefully you've entered their Lego contest, which has been running for a little while now. But yeah, I am not alone today either. I have a very special guest today, and it is my pleasure to welcome Anna Batanga to the show. Hi, Anna, how are you?
Hey, so nice to be back here.
Yes, good to have you here, Anna. Thank you for joining me today. Most people will probably know you as better as Four Bricks Tall. Yeah, we were very honoured that Anna decided to join us as our guest judge on the judging panel to really support us in judging this competition. So for those of you who maybe aren't familiar with the competition, this is the Lego Build and Capture Photo Contest 2021, which has been running through for quite a while now on the Flickr group here with this little incredible contest we have. Anna, lots of entries in there. Thank you so much for taking the time to go through all them.
Yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot more than I expected. I was quite overwhelmed with over 3,000. I think it's 3,400
Yep.
photos to look through. Yeah.
Yeah, we had over 3,600 members join the group and over 3,400 images, which I guess we should start with an apology that it's taken us so long to announce these winners. But we had to get all the judging panel together. We had to go through so many images to give everybody, the time their image deserved to look through them all. So apologies that we're probably a month behind schedule in announcing the winners, but it's been worth it. It's some incredible images in amongst all that.
I agree. There were a lot of images, and I had to go through maybe 4 times to make sure I'm spending enough time through each image. And even then, on my third time, I was like, I didn't see that the first time. I'm glad I got that time to do it.
Yeah, and just to let the folks viewing know that we had quite a good judging panel. We had myself and Anna. We had some other members of our Flickr team. Shout out to Carol and Letitia, and others on the team judging that. We also had members of the design team over at Lego, Milan and Carol, join us. So it was great to have the interaction between Flickr, yourself, Anna, and the Lego team to get down to these final 6 images, which we have to show today from, over 3,400 images. It was a lot of work and a lot of back and forward to get to those images. And of course, we all had different favorites. So we then had to try and consolidate it into the final selection, which is so difficult.
It was difficult. I mean, I it's so hard because we're quite a number and we're all looking for different things. Like I'm a Lego photographer, so I'm looking at like, okay, wow, that must have taken them this much effort to take that set over here. Or and then, I'm sure you're looking at some landscape stuff that I'm not so sure about, and I'm looking at reflections. So it was really interesting to see how we kind of came together at the end.
Yeah, and that was the whole point. We wanted the sort of judging panel to have a variety of people on there to come from different aspects, from the photography side, from the Lego side, and then from the design side on Lego as well. We all looked for probably different things, and then we kind of battled it out to get to the bottom 6 type of thing. But what I want to say to everybody viewing today is the biggest prize for anybody in this competition is just sharing your work and being part of this incredible community. We're all winners. There was an incredible amount of photography on there that just was wonderful to see that we maybe not have seen had it not been for this competition. So please do not be disheartened if you're not amongst our 6 winners today, but just really celebrate the fact that we all came together to celebrate the love of Lego and photography.
Yeah, can't you read? I mean, it was great to see so many entries and people who I've never seen. Like you could tell, like I've gone through their galleries and the 3 photos that they had to enter for Lego, they really went out of their way and took their Lego sets out. So it was really good to see people who had never done toy photography before just jump right in, and it was surprising. I really enjoyed it. It was good.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was definitely, you could, if you dug into people's accounts like we did during the judging, you can tell that some people are, specialists in Lego photography. Other people just decided that this was a great opportunity to get their Lego out and take these pictures, and maybe the rest of the feed doesn't have Lego on it. There was a real great mix of people entering the competition. I even heard quite a few people mention that this was something they got involved with together with their children, to build stuff and to photograph. And I'm sure we had some younger members involved in the competition, which was really great to see. Let's talk a little bit about yourself, Anna, if we can. Or should I call you
Sure.
Four Bricks Tall? I'm never.
Call me Anna. Corporate troll is kind of weird, like a weird person. I feel like I have to have my little sig fig. A sig fig
Yeah,
is like your own representation of a in Lego, if people who aren't familiar. But yeah, we're that dorky. We'll make our own little avatar out of Lego, and this is now me.
I can just
But
call you FBT, right?
you
That's
could, I mean,
even
people
shorter.
do. Yeah.
So you have been a great member of our Flickr community for many, many years now. You're very active on Flickr and all the various Lego communities out there. So we could not think of someone better to join us on the judging panel to give us the experience that you have. And you've put together a little portfolio on your Flickr account for me today, just to talk about and showcase some of the imagery that you do, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about how you got into Lego photography specifically.
Oh, well, I started Lego photography because at the time, I mean, I am a photographer, but I started Lego photography because I was pregnant or my kid was really young and I couldn't really take out all this gear with me all the time, like my huge DSLR and, all my lights or whatever. So just so I could keep practicing or keep shooting, I would take a Lego minifig, just this one tiny thing. That's all I had. I never imagined my life that I would have all of this stuff behind me. I just had this one minifig so I can, practice lighting while my kid was, I guess, eating sand or whatever he was doing. But yeah, and then I was doing it with my phone because I wanted it to be easy and just make sure that I was continuing to be creative. And later I got hooked. I didn't really understand how much of a collective thing it's such a draw. Like I need more. I need now a hair for this. I need this accessory. I need that. And now I have like all of this. And so it's kind of taken off and taken quite a bit of my time in my office, as you can see.
It does. Lego does tend to take over. It has that ability in
Yeah.
any household, but when you start getting serious about the photography side of it, it's
Yeah.
it spreads into every room. So tell us a little bit about some of these images as we go through, because you take a lot of your images to a technical level that many of us sometimes can't figure out how on earth you did it.
Right. Well, like this photo, for example, people can't tell if it's outside or inside, and this is actually an indoor photo on my windowsill. And I like to shoot with atmosphere, so I tend to, add raindrops. And this is just like a little spray bottle that I was using. So yeah, I shoot with a mirrorless camera. I do a lot of lighting, like I can do complicated lighting and I can do natural lighting. This is all natural light, which is like a reflector or a bounce card. But yeah, so most of my photos are like this. I like to kind of see how far I can push reality. And this one is really outside. This is just down the block from me. Yeah, so this is me shooting up into the sky because I like to play with angles with photography. And this is a new part, these deer. Uh, this was a challenge for me because here I wanted to try to get as many minifigs in a shot as I can. So I tend to always shoot one or two, maybe three minifigs. So I was thinking, you know what, I'm going to take 9 or whatever. And I started trying to collect. And then of course I want to collect more because now I want to build an army. So that's the story behind that photo. Each photo, kind of what I do is I'm always trying to challenge myself a little bit, maybe in not an obvious way. So this one I'm trying to use again some atmosphere in the background. This is on my front porch and there's cats like around. So I'm pushing them away as I'm trying to shoot. I look very odd, by the way, when people see me. Like my neighbors walk by and they're like, "What is she doing?" Because I'm like hunkered over, like I
Hunkered over playing with Lego. Yeah.
playing with Lego. And like, "What is she doing?" And I'm like, "Okay, yeah." So I like using atmosphere and finding locations,
Yeah.
like that shot there. And obviously, this is another outdoor shot. I don't really do a lot of outdoors because I get really. I'm one of those people like the weather affects me so much. So if it's cold, I'm just I do a lot of indoors. But when it's nice outside, I try to make sure that I'm doing my outdoor Lego shots because it's good practice to find locations and other stories. And this is all natural light, of course, with that little thing bouncing off his head. But I did light up like the eyes
Hmm.
in post. So I also tend not to not to process my photos too much. I mean, I'm not like a Star Wars shooter where I need like lightsabers or any of that kind of stuff. But these little things, like again, I'll light up his eyes in post, but the rest will be me with actual lights, or I'll be looking for nice lighting in these kinds of situations.
But we have had
I,
conversations before where you do try and find little tiny LED lighting and lots of
oh
light
yeah,
sources to add to buildings and
yeah.
campfires and that type of stuff.
I'm crazy about lights. I always want lights in my photography. I mean, where I can, where it's kind of practical, where it's not going to be like, oh God, that like, every single wire I have to edit out. I want to talk about like these kind of photos, like um Lego photography can be easy. That means like when you start out with a minifig and like how I started, you just put the minifig in your pocket and you look for a location, you can isolate it quite easily. But when you have a set like this, it's hard because, Lego is very linear and very blocky. And so it's hard to find like a level surface in nature, right? Like
Right.
otherwise, you have like these little gaps underneath the building. And so we like to look for moss because it'll kind of sink and level out. So whenever you see like a set like this, it's not a vehicle, like it's a building, take the time and appreciate that, wow, okay, this person really had to find a place where they can set it down where it's not like tilted or there's gaps or stuff like that. So that's a big challenge.
Yeah.
And carrying it is obviously a really big
Yeah.
challenge.
Transporting it. This was
Yeah.
an incredible image that I read your blog. You did quite a lot of blog articles about this image on how you froze this fig and prepared for this shoot. So it's
Yeah. I
came out
like to
really
do
well.
stuff like that because I like to show my kid, like, oh, you could be creative in other ways. So I wanted to show him, okay, what can we do with this Gatorade or what can we do with this, cake food coloring? So a lot of the stuff that I do is because I want to show my kids something cool. Like I've done some stuff with Epsom salts and when it like kind of evaporates, it turns into ice crystals. And I wanted to show him that, but then obviously later I said, "Hey, this could be ice for my Lego photography." So a lot of my stuff, it's because I'm doing something for my kid, and then I just use it in my Lego photography. So this is
Yeah.
one of those things.
So Lego literally in every room, including the fridge and the
Yeah,
kitchen. And
I'm like, I go, please look at everything. I mean, don't just like decide you're gonna drink that. There might be something in
yeah,
there that I
if you're
have.
ever if you're ever in Anna's company, check your glasses and your
Yeah,
you
please.
know your food. It's a little
And this is
close
something
up.
I very rarely do. Yeah, I do. I don't really do like these one-to-one macros of Lego. I mean, they're cool, and this is for texture. But yeah, because a one-to-one macro of Lego is literally a headshot, so we don't really need that. I mean, it's a nice shot for detail.
Yeah,
Oh,
this is fun.
this was a COVID project. I had just moved. I had no furniture. I literally only had an Amazon delivery, and I had these two minifigures. So I decided I'm just going to shoot what I can. So this is Amazon packaging that I've used here.
You mean it's not a rock face in a cave? That's
No, I
cool.
didn't actually go to a cave. I will someday.
Well, I think lots of people will be desperate for us to get to the main reason for this show and start talking about the winning images today. But thank you so much for giving us an insight into your work, and I hope everybody goes and checks out your account over at Flickr at Four Bricks Tall. You had to explain to me why you're called Four Bricks Tall, and
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
guilty of not understanding the relevance of that prior
Uh,
to this competition.
I'm 4 bricks tall because a Lego minifigure is 4 bricks tall if it's stacked without the hair or anything like that.
Yeah,
So I'm basically saying that I'm a Lego photographer.
yeah.
But yeah,
It's an interest. If you're in, if you know, you know, right, kind of
if
thing.
you know, you know.
Yeah,
Exactly. If you know, you
yeah.
know.
Well, now I know, but I didn't. So I was like, Four Bricks Tall. What does that mean? But yeah. So every minifigure, except for the super mini stuff, I guess, is 4 bricks tall.
Is
Very
4 bricks
interesting.
tall.
So does that mean a door is 4 bricks tall in Lego as well,
No, I
or do
think
they
it's like
vary?
5 bricks tall. And then, yeah, they have another one. Don't ask me about parts because they change stuff and I'm just not up to date all the time. I'm not that level of AFOL. AFOL, by the way, is an adult fan of Lego. So I am one, but I'm not that level.
Yeah, but you're a member of many communities for Lego. You're an official Lego ambassador.
I am. Yeah,
You are one of the community members over, or the community manager at Brick Central,
I am.
which is a
Yeah,
great
Brick
community.
Central
Yeah,
is a pretty large Lego photography community. So we're so happy that, we can get more people joining us, even though it's a little bit quirky and fun. It's, I'm so glad that Flickr did this contest because what I really wanted to do is bring more photographers into our hobby. Right now, we have a lot of like AFOLs who then
hmm,
get into photography, but then with Flickr, we have the other way around. We have photographers discovering toy photography. So I think it's a really cool opportunity and a great thing that you guys did here with the contest.
yeah, and we definitely saw that from the entries. You know, as we said earlier, we saw people coming from the Lego community to enter. We saw people coming from the photo community to have a go at some Lego photography. So we're delighted with the number of entries. The quality of the stuff that was entered was just so much fun, and really, really hard to get to these final six. So to explain to folks, we have very graciously have six prizes that Lego have provided us, and what we've decided to do is award. Sounds a bit strange, but we're awarding 2 third places, 2 second places, and 2 first places, just to split up the prize packages that we have. We have the beautiful art panels that Lego do as prizes. So the winners are going to receive a 4 panel Andy Warhol, Marilyn Monroe panel set. So all 4 panels in that set. Those in second place are going to get the Marvel Studio Iron Man 3 panel set. That would have been my favorite one. And the third place winners are going to get the Star Wars, the Sith 3 panel sets as well. So, and I believe with some of them you can build them as individual panels, but if you join the 3 panels together, you can make a whole different image altogether. So, really, really interesting prizes, and we hope the winners really enjoy them. But if you didn't win, don't worry. Part of an incredible community. Okay, are you ready, Anna?
I'm ready.
Oh,
Let's do it.
Carol's in the chat there. Carol, our community manager, saying drum roll. Indeed. So let's go to our first third placed winner, who, as I say, will receive the Star Wars The Sith 3 panel set. And our first winner, let's hope all this technology works today, is Helen Warwick with The Way Out. And this is a really fun image. And I guess with this image, timing is everything with this image.
No, yeah, I could see what you mean. Like, I don't think I would have the patience to shoot this kind of photo because, yeah, you could see that it's not even burned down the matchstick at all. Like it was just lit, and they went for it right away. And if this were me, that top of that cave kind of structure would be completely charred because
With
I wouldn't have I
all the
wouldn't have gotten the
attempts.
shot. Like you said, yeah, because so that's cool that it was all about the timing here.
Yeah, it's really interesting because the match has just been lit. So I guess everything's been set up, and then it's just about capturing it as you light the match. But how do you light the match? When do you use another match to light that match? I'm not sure how that works. So
Right.
it's a really, really fun shot. But there was again, lots of us had this in our kind of final selection in some of our pools. Some people had different ones, so we had to come together. I loved the little details, like the kind of dust on the hat of this adventurer as he goes through this cave. Just with all the bits of dust falling on the head. So, but for me, the timing was really good, and the exposure. Trying to get the exposure right when you're about to set fire to a match.
That's true. I mean, you're right. It's hard to get that exposure right when you have such a bright highlight coming from the fire. So
Yep.
yeah, and of course there's atmosphere. I always like atmosphere going on.
Yeah, and for me as more coming from a photography background, although a huge fan of Lego and a house full of Lego with two kids, I'll be honest, Lego photography wasn't one of my areas of specialism. Hence why we have you supporting us, Anna. But as a photographer, I'm always looking for a couple of things. One is light. It's for me, photography is all about light, so that is the biggest part, and then story. I love images that can tell a story, and this one needed, no explanation of what the story is. Is it Indiana Jones or some explorer going through a cave, and where are they going, what are they trying to find? Really, really wonderful shot. So Helen, thank you so much for entering that image into our contest, and we will organise getting that Star Wars 3-panel Sith set out to yourself. And then the next image is another one of our third place winners who will get the same set, the Star Wars set. And this one went straight into my final list as soon as I saw this image. This one is by Wendy Verboom, and it's called Macro Photography.
Who knew? No, but yeah, I'm very familiar with her work, and she, I think, is a really good macro photographer. She does a lot of stuff like this quite a bit. So I do like her nature macro, how she marries Lego with it. It's always a bit quirky, but it's always kind of dreamy. So yeah, she does good work.
Yeah, and for me, to be honest, this is an interesting photograph, even without the minifig, right? It's, technically very competent with the macro photography. This is a tiny piece of moss with, such incredible detail in the little stems growing out the moss, and just that story of having this photographer lying in a meadow, if you can imagine, taking photographs and stuff. But this is on such a small scale. Really, really love this image. The color just is so vibrant and pops so much. It just looked like a really nice day to be out taking photography.
No, and it's true. And I was mentioning earlier that how I don't personally do one-to-one macro because it's literally just a headshot. So you can really see that she knows her macro well. She's not afraid to go right in, whereas a lot, will pull farther back and have the minifig very small in the frame. It takes, I'm assuming she's bracing herself, in a very shallow depth of field trying to get this shot. So yeah, I like this too.
Yeah, I love the color of this is so good. It just made me happy to look at this photograph, which is always a nice emotion to express in your photography. Really enjoyed watching this. I just wanted to also mention that in the chat, I've got the wonderful support from Letitia, one of our community managers in the chat, who's posting links to these images on Flickr, so that if you're trying to have a close look at them, go into the chat, click on the links. Thanks for posting them, Letitia. I appreciate it. So you can go check them out right there in the Flickr group. So thank you and congratulations, Wendy. Again, I hope you really enjoy your Sith panels. Maybe you can post some images of them when you build them. It'd be cool to see them. Okay, moving into our second place winners. Moving right along. Our second place winners, as I mentioned earlier, they get the Marvel Studios Iron Man 3-panel set. wish I could have entered to win this one, because that's right up my street, that Iron Man panel set. And the first winner of that set is also a vehicle I would really love to own, and it's by Super Duper Trooper. Wonderful name. Super Duper Trooper, and it's Defender in the Woods. Wonderful atmosphere in this shot.
Wonderful. This was one of my top 10 photos. I mean, I'm not a fan of Technic at all. This is a different theme of Legos where there's like no bricks. It's just very different, very sturdy, and it's scale. You know, it's much bigger than I'm used to. I was talking earlier about bringing out a Lego set that's this large. I mean, obviously this is a vehicle, so they don't have to look for like these even surfaces. But taking these out and finding environments that suit them is challenging, and I just love the tone of this photo. Like it all blends right in. It fits this car perfectly. I love all that atmosphere. It's great. Yeah, it's nice and smooth. I really love it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this one as well. I love the atmosphere, you know, a little bit of smoky haze in there. I love the kind of cinematographic approach to it, with the kind of anamorphic flare coming from the lights, the kind of panoramic formatting of it, so it's not square crop, and then just the positioning of it, the wheels slightly turned out so you can see the detail in the wheels, and such an appropriate place to find to put your Land Rover, one of the new Defenders. I think I can afford the Lego version. I can't afford the real version, but so yeah, wonderful image. And I'm delighted to say that in the chat we have a very happy Super Duper Trooper. Congratulations.
Super duper.
Yeah,
I
super
love that
indeed.
one. That was great. One of my faves for sure. When I saw it, I immediately, it's like, I know who did this, but I love this photo so much.
Well,
And
it
I'm not a
was,
fan of Technic, so it's,
yeah,
it always surprises me.
yeah. I don't know who Super Duper Trooper is, but this image was in my top selection as well. So congratulations. Hopefully I get to find out who you really are one of these days. Well, we have to, so we can post you the prize, but
Yeah, sure.
congratulations. And they come back saying thank you so much, guys. You know, congratulations. Thank you for entering this image into the competition. Please, yeah, when you get your prize, please take a picture of it. Let us see what you did with it, where you hung it. I'm sure it will look great wherever you
A
are.
cool one. I'm expecting cool shots, of course.
Right. Our next second place winner, again getting the Iron Man panel set. I think this image was definitely in your and I top list for sure.
For sure.
And yeah, I'm sure it was. It's a wonderful build by Nathan Smith called Sunset of Empires. Love this image.
This is a fantastic image because you could see the depth of this. And I mean, if you look closely, I know you're not super familiar with Lego, but those buildings in the back are like maybe 5 bricks tall. I mean, not 4 bricks tall, but just like 5 bricks tall. So he built like micro scale all the way up to the front where it's like minifig scale. So this, if you can imagine, is, quite a deep shot to do. And that's a lot of building to get a shot like this. Look, he's got way more minifigures than I could ever pull off in a shot. His army's already got like, I don't know, 12 people. But yeah, this is a super great shot. I love the atmosphere. I love the colors, how he blends it. I love the story. It's colorful but not overwhelming. I love the framing. I love to see like, just the details where the tree's not overlapping any of the buildings. It's just, it kind of follows. And I'm sure he built it to the camera like, oh, there's a space here. I better add like a leaf, just
Yeah,
like that's super cool. And the lighting, of course, is great.
yeah. The story, as I say, is always important to me, and in the Flickr page and the notes, Nathan goes into the story here about it's the story of soldiers coming back from war, and as was always done, the sword of a fallen soldier is presented to their widow. And here you see, the widow that's been tending the fields with their child beside them. It's really quite an emotional story when you look at it. So an incredible story to tell. But then the build quality, as you say, the perspective of this build is incredible to
Yes.
to make it. At first, I thought maybe it was a like a screen background or something, but you know, when you actually look into it, this is an entire build, right in perspective. So yeah, incredible shot,
Mhm.
Nathan. Congratulations. We all enjoyed this from a build perspective, from a photo, you know, technical perspective to the story. Almost had us in tears. It's such a sad one, but it's
Yeah,
really
I
cool.
was, but yeah, but I mean, the scale of this is super impressive. So, and the storytelling as well. But yeah, it's he's so good at that, at creating this kind of painterly kind of image. It's a lot to take in this image, so it's great to see up front in my monitor, and just huge. I love zooming in these kind of photos on Flickr just so I could see all this stuff in the background, and it's great. Like there's a little ship there that
Hmm.
he built as well. That would be, and you have to like see it on your screen to really appreciate it. Yeah, really great job. Really good job.
Yeah, this is one of those images. If it was done in oil by one of the great masters, it would be an incredible oil painting, or you know, a really great story. And you know, to achieve that using Lego is to be commended. So, Nathan, congratulations. I hope you enjoy your prize, and congratulations on getting second place. So, we'll take a little break before the drum rolls for our top prizes. To those of you who are watching, thank you so much for joining today. I'm going to ask you a little favor. If you could, if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification. That way you'll be notified whenever we do another show here on SmugMug Live, talking about all things SmugMug and Flickr. If you're watching on Facebook, then give us a like on Facebook, and follow our pages, both on SmugMug and Flickr. And if you're watching the video and enjoying it and want to support us, then yeah, give us a thumbs up, give us a little like on the page. I would really appreciate it, and it gives a lot of support to our channel, lets other people find our content, and hopefully they find a lot of this of interest. So thank you for doing that. I really appreciate it. Shall we move on? Shall we get to the winners, Anna?
We gotta go. We gotta
We
go. I'm
gotta?
excited for the top two. Sure. Yeah.
Yes, right. Let me cue our first place winner. And as I mentioned earlier, another little plug for the prizes. These next two images both get a 4-panel set, the Andy Warhol Marilyn Monroe set, which is a beautiful piece, and I think it's quite a sizable piece when you build all 4 of them together to hang on your walls there. So thank you so much for entering, and congratulations to our first place winner, which is Tom Milton, which we're going to call "The Road Must Be Trod," which is the first line of their little caption there. This was definitely a contender from day one for me. As soon as I saw this image, I love this image, little depiction of the story of the Lord of the Rings.
Fantastic image. And I don't know if I told you before, like whenever I see like minifigures out in the wild, I'm always thinking about how they're getting it positioned so well. And there's tricks that we need to use. We need People use toothpicks, some people use spikes. I use a little bit of wire attached to another stud. And so he's got them all here. But it's not just that. It's finding this kind of location that fits with your characters, and the lighting and the wind. For me, I'm always like, these things, they just fall right over. So this, when I look at a shot like this, I see a lot of patience, waiting for the light, looking for that location, setting everything up. And I'm also imagining them, chin in the dirt kind of thing. So I'm always like, wow, that took a lot. Even making that hike up there would probably take a lot out of me. So whenever I see other people's work, I'm always thinking, wow, how much would that take? So this was like one of those. And obviously the way he even framed it was like a 16:9, so it's like you're seeing a scene in the movie.
Yeah, very cinematographic, right? This 16:9 format maybe even be wider than 16:9. And this is it's taken in Snowdonia in Wales, here in the UK, which Tom says is doubling as Middle Earth here. And yeah, very reminiscent of probably the scenes we saw in the movie of Lord of the Rings, which probably was somewhere in New Zealand, right? But yeah, I love it. See, I would have carried these up. If I'd wanted to do this, I would have carried these up and would not have thought about how am I going to make them stand up. So with your little tips and tricks and ideas of, you know, the fact you need spikes and you need toothpicks and all that type of stuff is very valuable to those who are going to try this. For instance, one of the characters in that image is walking in the image, so he's got 1 foot forward.
All right. Yeah,
And,
so
you know,
not
makes it
easy.
even harder, right, to
Yeah,
stand
for
up.
sure.
Snowdonia is what the one of the is the highest mountain in Wales in the UK. So this is not even an easy place to get to. Not sure how far up it is, Tom, but yeah, great image, great depth of
Great.
field.
Yeah.
You know, just making that sort of background just drop off out of focus a little bit is really helps make the figure stand out. And again, it's just a great story. It's reminiscent of a story we all love. We've all, you know, many of us love Lord of the Rings, and it was just a really great way to see it. So congratulations, Tom, on a wonderful
A
hike
great image.
ups. Yeah, up
Yeah,
Snowdon.
no, and yeah, going back on that, the depth of field in these landscape shots are something that we don't really see a lot in Lego photography because, you know, we're tending to shoot quite close, and you know that makes your depth of field very shallow. So when we see something like this, like a deeper landscape, it does stand out a lot, especially when you know you're looking at this kind of epic shot. It's not just, you know, it's not just the figures that are in focus and then the rest go into like this blurry background. This is a very deep and, you know, considered as a movie shot.
Yeah, it's good. I'm delighted to see that Tom's actually in the chat. Thanks, Tom, for joining. Tom says, thanks, everyone. I did get a dirty chin. So, yeah.
Sure.
And
Worth it. Worth it.
there's lots of sheep in that part of the world. So it's maybe not just dirt you have to lie on to
Oh
get that kind
no.
of. And he says, yeah, he took the photo on Mount Snowdon, which is a beautiful part. He says he was 3/4 of the way up. Slacker, didn't get all the way up to the top. But, I guess you were looking for just that perfect spot that had the right story to tell.
Okay, is that
So
three
yeah,
fourths away up is like how long is that of a hike, do you think?
it's a fair way up there. It's I think it's the second highest mountain in the UK, so pretty
Okay.
high up there. Certainly a few thousand feet of climbing for sure
Okay.
to
With
get
that in
to,
your pocket. Okay.
and all the camera
And
gear.
all the camera gear I don't know if Tom is just like a hiker or he, you know, thinks I'm going to take this shot because that would be next level, right? Like I'm going to go hike up there to take this shot.
Yeah. Tom, congratulations. Beautiful image. Really was a contender for many of us the minute we saw it. I'm going to jump back because I just saw a nice. I'm going to jump back to Nathan's image because I'm delighted to see that Nathan is also with us. Smith says, "Thanks so much for all the kind words, Nathan. Absolutely stunning image, sir. Really, congratulations. Well deserved and incredible build.
Absolutely.
Yeah." And thank you for
Great.
joining the live stream. So good to see all of you there. And I should point out, if you're not keeping an eye on the chat, folks, you should, because everybody has just been so wonderful in the chat, commenting on these images and being very supportive and supporting each other and saying how wonderful these images is. So thank you, everybody, for being so gracious in the chat there and supporting the community. We really appreciate it.
I gotta say, the Lego photography community is probably one of the most welcoming communities. Whenever somebody gets celebrated like this, we're all like, "That's awesome," you know. So yeah, I fully expect the chat to be super supportive.
That's cool. Right, we've got one last image to do that, and I'm going to keep you in suspense for just a little bit longer because I want to plug another competition that we're doing here on Flickr. Every year on Flickr, we run the Your Best Shot competition. So we just announced this week the Your Best Shot 2021. So the competition is open. This year we have 7 categories available for entry into Your Best Shot 2021. We're looking for your single best image of the year, in your opinion, to enter into this competition. We have some great prizes in this competition as well. We are being supported by our dear friends at Peak Design, who are giving away a Peak Design bag to each of the winners of the categories. Some incredible bags there to be One, we are very fortunate to be supported by Capture One, who are providing a copy, a license for Capture One Pro 2022, the latest version, which I think gets announced tomorrow. I may have announced that, but anyway, the everybody who wins the categories gets a Peak Design bag, Capture One Pro 22 license, and a free year of Flickr Pro. So get over there to Your Best Shot 2021 group, give the group a join, read through the categories, work out which category your best image of 2021 fits, and have a go at that other competition. There's already 6,000 members in that competition and over 4,000 photos entered into that one. We will get into the tens of thousands of images in that competition, and I'm sure Anna's pleased that she's not coming back to judge that one.
I just thought that. I was like, oh my God. Okay.
Surprise, Anna, you're judging.
Yeah. That other one took me quite a while.
Yeah, that one takes a long time to judge, and we will be announcing our guest judges for that competition very soon. But I just wanted to take a little moment while you were all still tuned in to plug that competition. Please go check out Your Best Shot 2021. Right, our final image, Anna. Are you ready for this one?
I'm ready.
Okay, so our final winner of today, and again, thank you to everybody who entered. I know there can only be a few winners, but thank you to everybody who entered. But our final prize, again, the Andy Warhol Marilyn Monroe 4-panel set, Wall Art Lego set, goes to the incredible image by Shannon Sproul called Pale Blue Dot. Isn't this a wonderful image?
This was my top image. I love this shot so much because there's so much detail there. Like I love how he, set out all these tiles on the floor. I love how he broke up the tiles. I love how all of these shadows just like break right across everything, and how it feels like, okay, there's like a piano over there and there's a abandoned guitar with a sofa, and it's supposed to be strange but familiar, and and I love all of the blue tones, and then you've just got like the little bit of warmth over there with the red sofa, and then that like nougat guitar. So this is really one of my favorites because also the perspective, the point of view is not something that I see a lot. I tend to see a lot of like eye level kind of photography. So this high angle photography, I mean, in this intentional way, not like a child shooting down, but in this way where you could see that the star of this photo are the shadows that come across. And, so it's a lot of mystery. Where is that light coming from? What is that light? And it's just like some kind of abandoned space lounge, or, there's just a lot of space. And I just love also that it's, again, another one of these deep focus photos. I don't tend to see a lot of that. I tend to see a lot of shallow depth of field. So when I see something where there's a lot of detail, but it makes sense and it's intentional, I tend to really look at those a lot. But yeah, I love how, he just breaks things up just so that it's not so perfect. And even the shadows, they're not perfect themselves. I mean, it's off to the side. He's got multiple light sources with, several shadows overlapping. But I think that all like brings into like, what is this? What is that light beyond that he's looking at? So yeah, one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. As I said earlier, for me, light and storytelling is everything in a photograph to me. The lighting on this one really jumped out looking through all those images, especially the shadows, the lack of light on some of this. The build on the floor, really fun build, a lot of detail there. Why are those cracks in the floor? What's going on? Those type of questions run through your head. What is actually happening? Is this a concert in space? Is it a music video that's being made? The top-down look, as you say, really, really interesting. Something we would normally, as you say, kind of recommend not to do because it kind of compresses everything. We tend to tell people to get down to the height of their subject matter, that type of stuff. But yeah, really interesting story and really interesting concept. So this stood out for me from day one again, just as a really strong contender. But do you know what else really surprised me and it really made me love it even more?
What?
Anna, is this image was actually taken on a mobile device.
Oh,
so
yeah.
one of the incredible things about Flickr is if you want, you can share your EXIF data and the information about the camera, the lens, the aperture, all that type of stuff. Really great way to see how people have taken their images. And this, I would never have known that this image was taken on a mobile device. So it just goes to show that you really can capture incredible images on anything that you have to hand, whether it be a phone, an old camera, a new camera, a big camera, small camera. You can still create incredible work. So that was a real thrill to see that our top image had been taken on a mobile device. That's
Right. And he knows his equipment. He knows that he's building to a wide angle. He knows he's building to deep focus. So he's building to the equipment that he has.
right.
And that's the thing about mobile phone photography is if you're trying to do like portrait kind of work and trying to get a shallow depth of field, you probably don't have the right gear. So when you're shooting with the gear you have, if you understand it, you can still turn out really great images working within the limitations of the gear that you have. You don't have to have 5 macro lenses. You can have your phone and just build to that, but build great. Like look at the composition of this, the colors. He used so many different techniques to come up with this, even though it's just shot on the phone. I mean, a
Yep.
phone is basically just a wide angle camera, right? Yeah, so great. I love it.
Yeah, it was a real thrill. Loved those images. But that is our top six. But the thrill for me was looking through all those images. It took us a long time to look through them all because I can honestly tell everybody watching we paid attention to every single image that was uploaded. We considered all those images. I'm sure there are dozens of images that you may all think were more deserving of those ones, and I completely get that. That's photography, that's art. It's subjective, and that's what makes it so cool. I love it. If we got a whole bunch of different
Right.
people and they'd pick different images, please don't be disheartened if you didn't win. Please celebrate what we achieved in this group with so many incredible images.
Right. And we were civil, right, Alistair? I didn't like have to get over there and get in your face about
It didn't
I
get
mean,
too
I
didn't
did.
get too heated. We fought for
Yeah.
what you want, but that's the great thing about a judging panel. When you have people who are passionate about it and really understand what they're judging and putting together a judging panel. It's very important that we have those different views and different backgrounds to make sure that everybody has a fair chance and everybody has the eyes of a great judging panel. But Letitia, who's in the chat, thank you for posting all the links to those images. We will be sending out an email and creating a blog post where people can go see those images. Anna, thank you so much for taking the time. It's been a thrill spending time with you, getting these images judged and getting to know you more and know your artwork better. But thank you for the time.
Thank you so much, Alistair. Like I said, we were so thrilled. I gotta say, I mean, before we end this, that we loved having that day when Flickr just showcased a lot of Lego photography and put it on the Explore page. That was such a fantastic lift for us. So thank you so much to the Flickr team for looking at our work as a community and pushing it forward. It was such a thrill for us.
Yeah, the Explore takeover really was a thrill. It was an incredible piece of work, and it's right. It's a body of incredible Lego images. And thank you for being a huge member of the Flickr community. The Lego community within Flickr is extremely strong. We are so proud that you recognize the benefits of being on Flickr, and I know that's something that you share with your community, Anna, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I Lego and Flickr they basically go hand in hand. But this is the original Lego photography home, typically for builders, because the great thing about it was that you could zoom in and people could take notes and you can see EXIF, you can see, just effortlessly on my monitor all the details because Lego is about details and we need to see those things. So obviously having Lego here makes a lot of sense to be able to see on Flickr. So yeah, it's great to have Lego show up on Flickr rejuvenated because it's a good recognition of how this community lives on Flickr.
Yep, been an absolute thrill. So go check out Anna's work over at Four Bricks Tall. You'll find her, of course, on Flickr, but all the other social platforms as well. Where I think you're Four Bricks Tall everywhere. Is that right?
I'm 4 bricks salt everywhere except my house. My mom. Yeah.
Your mum, quite right. Everybody, thank you so much. Again, do me a favour, hit that subscribe button if you're tuned in on YouTube. Go check out all our previous episodes as well if you can. Give us a like, give us a thumbs up. We really do appreciate it. And we will see you very soon to talk a bit more about Your Best Shot 2021, which will be judged in the new year. But for now, wherever you are in the world, stay safe, be kind, look after each other, and we'll see you back here very soon for another episode of SmugMug Live. Thanks, Anna. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.